Watching the night set in. Tomorrow's a brand new day again, full of twists and turns you never know, and great surprise.
Hey everybody! I am Dhory Batlag, and I will be discussing to you about English for academic purpose and the rules of subject-verb agreement. Are you ready to listen? What is English for academic purpose? Well, English for academic purpose is one of the branches of English for a specific purpose. It is defined by its focus in teaching English specifically to facilitate learner study or research through the medium of English.
Now let's talk about the history of English for academic purpose. During the early years, in 1950s and 1960s, Britain began to receive increasing numbers of international students funded by the British Council as part of the government policy of aid to developing countries. At the same time, Britain was responding to the rapid growth in many countries of English as a common language for business and science, and there was an explosion of need for English teachers to deliver language teaching in country at fairly low levels. ESP seemed the answer in the second context, while EAP seemed the answer for the minority of these language learners who progressed to study in Britain. This practical response to an immediate problem characterized the beginnings of English for academic purposes.
Now let's talk about the 12 rules in subject-verb agreement. But first, let us define the word agreement. Agreement, in grammar, it means correspondence in person and number. Thus, when a subject agrees with its predicate, both subject and the predicate verb have the same person and number. Rule number 1. A verb must agree in number with the subject. A singular subject takes a singular verb, and a plural subject takes a plural verb. For example, Lloyd studies math. We use a singular form of the verb because our subject, Lloyd, is singular. For another example, they study math. We use a plural form of the verb because our subject is plural. Rule number 2. The number of the subject is not changed by a phrase following the subject. For example, the girl with long braids is my sister. We use a singular form of the verb because the subject in the sentence is the girl, and it is singular. Just remember that the number of the subject is not changed by a phrase following the subject. Rule number 3. The following indefinite pronouns require a singular form of the verb. For example, everybody wants to be loved. So our verb in the sentence is
Once.
and it is a singular form of the verb because we use the indefinite pronoun everybody. Indefinite pronouns such as all, both, many, several, few take a plural verb. For example, both are invited to attend the party. We use plural form of the verb because our subject is the indefinite pronoun both. Rule number 4. Compound subjects joined by and require a plural verb. For example, Aljan and Dhory are playing in the playground. We use the plural form of the verb are because our subjects are joined by the word or conjunction and. If the nouns joined by and are considered as one unit, you must use a singular form of the verb. For example, bread and butter is my breakfast. We use a singular form of the verb, which is because our subjects are considered as one unit, which are bread and butter. When the subjects are joined by or nor, the verb must agree to the subject near to it. For example, the teacher or the students are in the gym. We use a plural form of the verb because the subject near to the verb is plural. Rule number 5. The expression a number of is plural. The expression the number of is singular. For example, a number of delegates are in the museum. We use a plural form of the verb because of the expression a number of. Another example, the number of thieves is alarming. We use a singular form of the verb because of the expression the number of. Rule number 7. Many is plural. Many is singular. For example, many are playing today. We use a plural form of the verb because of the indefinite pronoun many. Another example, many a participant performs in the gym. We use a singular form of the verb because of the expression many a. Rule number 8. Subjects don't always come before the verb in questions. For example, when is your birthday? So the verb is and the subject in the sentence is birthday. So the subject comes after the verb. Rule number 9. Nouns denoting quantity, percentage, currency take a singular verb. But if they are followed by the preposition, the object of the preposition determines the number of the verb. For example, 1/4 of the class is absent. The subject there is 1/4 followed by the prepositional phrase of the class, and the verb there is. So it's singular. The subject there denotes quantity. That's why we use a singular form of the verb. Rule number 10. Nouns ending in S but singular in meaning are singular. For example, physics is a difficult subject. We use the singular form of the verb because our subject
Singular, which is physics.
Rule number 11. Noun in pairs take a plural verb, except if the expression a pair of is used. For example, the pens are printed with a logo. We use a plural form of the verb because the subject there is plural. Another example, a pair of pens is sold today. So we use a singular form of the verb because of the expression a pair of. Rule number 12. A collective noun taken as one unit requires a singular form of the verb. But if every member of the group is doing the task, therefore it requires a plural verb. For example, the jury decides on the case. We use a singular form of the verb because our subject, jury, which is a collective noun, is taken as one unit. Another example, the jury signed the letter. We use a plural form of the verb because our subject there, even though it's a collective noun, but every member of the jury is signing the letter. That's why we're using a plural verb. Those are the 12 rules in subject-verb agreement. Thank you for watching and listening. I hope you guys learned something from my video. Thank you.